Awesome. Hey guys, welcome to the weekly drills. Today we're going to be reviewing the shipping containers. How are we, Justin?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm freezing cold.
Are you really? Is it that bad
Yeah,
out there? Are you guys
yeah,
just,
it's
just,
like
you just?
freezing.
I don't think it's freezing. I think it's probably cold to you guys, but it'd still probably be a heat wave to me. I'd be like, oh, that's nice.
Well, it was so cold, my shower wouldn't heat up this morning, so no shower for me
Wow.
today.
Really?
It was that bad. Maybe our gas is broken.
Wow.
I
You gotta go to Sydney then.
think it's like warmer over there, isn't it? Like more
I would,
tropical?
I,
I don't know.
I
God
would, I
knows.
would imagine. I would imagine so.
Hopefully. All right. So we have
Yeah.
a lot of wait, let me share my screen. So we had a few entries this week, so which was really good, and we decided that we were just going to review them all. So because a decent amount. So for the first one, so this one was constructed of modular pieces that were already made. So I assume it was just a exercise of like a layout and some lighting as well. Yeah. So what were your thoughts on this one?
Honestly, I like the idea. I like seeing the pieces that were used. Biggest thing is that if this was more or less an exercise in showing off like how you can build a scene, I would like to have seen better angles, not just this one, and I would like to have seen um, better lighting because the lighting and this vignette around it, the shadows are pure black. It just the lighting is very very harsh and rough. Whereas you see the lightings in those little pieces you just showed, where like the shadows feel like they have like that blue tint to them. It's nice and soft. The pieces look nice. Um, the textures look great. The modeling looks great. It's just I'm not very happy with like even there without any shadows. I'm like, oh cool, it looks good because you can start to see like you can see a lot of the textures. I feel like the lighting does not work for this scene. It's way too harsh, and the way that it's processed feels very like super contrasty. I would have just liked to see more angles, maybe like a isometric angle, a couple different angles. There's another one, but like compositing wise, like composition wise, that one feels it just feels flat. Um, I would love to see like where he's going with it. That one initial angle looks really cool. Like I'm into that. Like you sold me to it. It's just I feel like the lighting just breaks it for me. And then I would have just loved to see maybe a couple of different angles like that, or just like, hey, how are you building this? Or if you're taking pieces and building something, do a screen video capture, and just show us you doing a time lapse putting it together. I don't know. That would have been a fun thing to kind of do. Because think about it,
doesn't it? Like,
yeah, it doesn't look as bad there. I don't know if it's like the colors need to be a little bit desaturated. It's just for me that the lighting just feels harsh.
yeah, probably like part like compositing as well. Like that's what I'm gonna guess. Looks very like contrasted, like vignetted and contrasted, whereas here looks a bit more natural. But I don't know, like you said, textures. Yeah. Cool. Next one was the ice cream. This one was cool. We thought this one was really creative. So I'll just scroll through the images. So a lot of effort. We can see a lot of effort's gone into this. Like it's really, really thoughtful. Like what really well thought out. What a wicked idea. I was really impressed by some of these. The textures and the hand painting that's been done on this. It was really quite cool. The shape of the container itself is really nice. Like it's really stylized, super. Like the cool angles and big and chunky and things like that. Love these like fairy lights and love the atmosphere that you've made.
Yeah.
But we were saying that it probably would have lended itself more to more of a stylized look. So less of this like normal detail and less of this like photorealistic detail, and sort of stick to like gradients and flatter colors and something that suits the stylized angular nature of this piece. And if you are going to go towards more of a photorealistic approach, perhaps remove like the angles and make it more like a photoreal asset, and like create your proportions more like correct. And also increase the texture resolution, because some of these details, it just feels really low quality. Like some of these really large chunky things sticking out, it's just it's just a little bit low quality for what we're trying to achieve here. But if you'd gone for something a little bit flatter with less of these details, it definitely would have been more successful.
Yeah, I mean, I think exactly what you're saying. Like, I like it. It has a lot of fun to it. The vibrant colors and like the way that the shapes are kind of like more askew. I feel like the textures don't match that. I feel like they should just lean into the stylized, be a little more painterly, remove the surface details that you're seeing with the normals and whatnot, and just have fun with it. Or if you do want to make it go realistic, just you gotta make the stylized proportions, just make it be more realistic, and then tile the textures at least 2 times more. And then just think about it. Like, not everything is going to have, like, if you go to these shipping containers, they're not all like bumpy. Like, why do you have normals in some areas? Like, it's just that. And then one thing, show us your wireframes, show us your UV maps, show us like your visual reference. Like, these are great, but there's no process here. So it's like, it's cool, but it feels incomplete without a process to really like to look at, or even just a shaded view, or really cool idea. I like where you're going with it. It just feels like it's the first step into maybe hopefully you taking it and pushing it further.
Totally agree.
But I like the idea. I think it's a great idea. Like, I feel like if you leaned in and really stylized all the textures and had some fun with it, and then even want to have like some of the smaller details, like exaggerate some of the details, like some of the sizing of them. Remember, it doesn't have to be like part of a stylized asset. It doesn't mean like everything has to be super small. Like, you can make the light bulbs a little bigger. In that front area, you can like sometimes they just feel too small, like noise, or even like those chairs are the little like cup or like glass with a straw on the table that's over there. So just exaggerate proportions, because you're already doing it in some parts. So
maybe simplify like the amount of geo in it as well. I mean, I don't know, you might be able to, but maybe like just one table with 1 or 2 crates. But bigger cup, bigger crates.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
The composition is a huge thing.
Yeah. Just so it's simplified, just so we can like give our eyes like an area to rest a bit. But it's really interesting. I love it. All right. This one here. Let's go up to the top. So there's no breakdown, unfortunately. So we'll just sort of go based on what we have. But in terms of the model and texture, it is very simple. So great work getting all of these details in, getting the chain in the model. That's a tricky exercise in itself. So well done. Definitely could have put a little bit more detail into the model. Maybe something a bit more interesting. It feels like a shipping container would have a little bit more to it. Although it'd be good if we had reference to copy as well.
Exactly.
Where the chain meets there, it feels a little bit artificial. Like there's no joint or like additional something to make that look more realistic. And the textures as well. I think the thing that stands out to me is the red. It is far too red to be rust or any sort of dirt. It almost looks like blood in a way, or paint.
Yeah.
It's
I assume sporadic.
Or it could be paint. It could be if it is like a worn paint, I'm not sure. I would assume it would not, like if it was paint, it wouldn't wear off in this sort of fashion. It would look quite different, I guess, like a little bit more natural. But yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, I just, I think this is another classic case of like, we need to make sure that you do have visual reference or something to kind of pull from so we can accurately give you feedback. Right now, I just feel like it's missing edges. It's missing like these key elements that make me think, all right, that the chain looks a little bit like I would reduce the number of chain links and increase the size of them, because they look like they would bust and they wouldn't be able to hold that weight. And they need to have like an anchor on the actual crate itself that would like really feel like could take the load and pick it up. So right now it just feels like like it's like a first pass idea. Like it just needs more. And again, having the visual reference, we can actually get inside your head and see what you're trying to do. And this is why showing your process is so important. Your wireframe, your blockouts, your UV maps, everything, what you're working from material wise, like that stuff that answers the questions that we have right now. And then we can't really give accurate feedback if we don't know what you're trying to do. We can give feedback based on like what we would do. What I would do is I would make sure that I'm actually looking at a shipping crate, because if I'm being 100% honest, this does not look like you're referencing a shipping crate. And if that's the case, if you're trying to do your own stylized version, like you want to do your own sci-fi stylized version, reference, write some ideas down. I'm trying to do, like, you know what I mean? Throw the scale character in there, like to help us understand what you're trying to do. And unfortunately, a lot of people who are looking at portfolios, if they have work like this, where we're left to guess, we're not going to assume things that are like, oh, maybe it's a sci-fi thing he's trying to do. We're going to be like, oh, it looks like he just didn't reference a crate. You know what I mean? So reference next time, like, and it's nice. It's a nice little render. But if I saw the wireframe and I was like, oh, it's a clean wireframe. All right, cool. You understand that stuff. Then to me, it's like, I can see where your mind's going, but this leaves me with little to work with. I just think right now the chains feel very weak, and they're not bolted to anything.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it would hold the weight of the container, does it?
No, and it looks like the container itself, how is it welded together? Like what's keeping those corners together? That's what that, really referencing an actual shipping container will really help.
But great try. I think it's yeah, you haven't done a lot of shading before, so it's where your focus was. So definitely have a look at, definitely draw from real life containers, get your references, and make sure as you're working, you're constantly looking backwards and forth. It's so easy to sort of start texturing and modeling out of your head instead of, like actually copying and following a reference. And then when you're doing, things like textures, make sure any detail that you place, write it down on a piece of paper. Just go, all right, I'm going to add this, this, and this. Like, look at all the layers that you can see, and then think about why those layers are placed in certain areas, instead of just going, all right, it needs to have paint, it needs to have, red paint and black paint. How would that accumulate over time in different areas, as opposed to just being evenly balanced over the whole thing? It might, scrape off in different areas due to different reasons. Maybe it's scraped more on the sides or on the bottom or things like that. So just definitely have a think about your placement of details as well. But no, good work. All right, so again, another fantastic entry, but no proper breakdown again. So that was probably the most disappointing thing of this one. But the model itself and the textures are quite nice. I think it's a really cool model, cool textures. They stand out, the white and the black. It's sort of futuristic, a lot of like decals and things like that, which is really nice. I do like this. This is like a it's like a blueprint.
Yeah.
I think. So you can see the scale ref, we can see the size. So this is nice. This is a nice addition to it, I think. Almost like an advertisement in a way.
Yeah, I think the presentation of this and like just showing off all that stuff is really cool. It's just, like you put all that effort to do that. Like, would love to see, more, but also like you have this interesting opportunity to actually have, see like a little punch card. Like, what does that look like when it opens up? Like, what's inside of there? Showing how it opens and closes, but then even showing maybe where, like, if it gets picked up, those little things you have in the middle, like this is where the crane will grab onto it and stack it. This is where, you know what I mean? Like you're scratching the surface of something really fun. It'd be really cool to see how you can do more with that. Like, is this used in the airport? Is this used in a shipping crate container? Like, there's a lot of cool ideas with this. It's just show us your wireframe, show us your UV map, show us your reference. Just like how you're doing this really nice presentation here, like do another one. Show actually how it's opening, how it stacks, like everything like that. I like where this is going. I just would love to see a little more.
And I think, like, for the most part, the model and the textures are quite nice. For me, in terms of texturing, like some of these scratches feel a little bit unpurposed, or like not purposeful, like don't really know what's caused them. And if it, like, there was a massive scratch, I would expect maybe some of the paint and stuff to wear off as well. I think what's doing it for me is this like the edge detail on the black, like this really soft, mushy detail. It's kind of making it look a little bit low res. Like some of this.
You don't need it all over the place. Like you just need it like one or two places. It's less is more.
Yeah, that's right. I think, but like the dirt on here is really nice. I like the leaks. I like how it's like dirty. The leaks are sort of like cleaning away some of that dirt. So that in itself is really good. So nice one. All right. So again, another wonderful entry, but no breakdown. I shouldn't say no breakdown. We have a small one here. I would have loved to have seen like a wireframe or maybe a discussion as to how this was made, or what else, what did you find challenging? What were you aiming for? Any reference you had? How did you make this? Because we have no idea how much of this was matte painting versus how much is, I assume that portion was matte painting, but like how did you make the grass? What did you texture it in? Just things like that would have been nice to see, I think.
Yeah, like it looks like it's a nice render. It's got some fun stuff to it. It's almost like I would have pushed this a little bit further, had that door be open and maybe like a little tarp and actually showed someone living there, because it looks like it's just been placed there. So it's like, maybe someone could be living there. Or is the idea that this was once at the bottom of a lake or ocean, and then since then it's, I don't like, you know what I mean? Like, why is it there? Because it looks like there's CLG in the middle of it, or vines, or what is that?
Yeah, is that coins? Well, there's a bit of mystery. So it says here, how did the container full of they're rookies medals. How did that container full of rookies medals end up here? So I like the mystery of it. I'll be honest. I like the mystery.
Yeah. Touche. It's a nice render.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So like the vines, you can see there, cards to opacity, things like that. It's nice though. But yeah, breakdowns, guys. Breakdowns. All right. So this is a great example of a fantastic breakdown. So we can scroll through this model.
I like it when you guys use Sketchfab.
God, it's got music to it as well.
Yeah. It looks nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I like Sketchfab if it's used in conjunction with like a nice render as well. I think that's what I like about this entry. We got Sketchfab so we can really see it. Ow, cat, sorry. Scratching me. How do I stop it? This one I thought was cool. Like, so we got a full-on video.
Yeah, I like that one too.
So dramatic. Like,
the camera pan's it's a bit over the top, but it's what you're trying to do.
I think it's cool. I like the little touches of light. Almost looks like fire.
Yeah,
no, it's nice. So we got Quixel mega scans we used for the environment. Nice work. And yeah, a lot of breakdowns, a lot of renders. Yeah, so really nice. Yeah, a bit of a breakdown as well. I don't think we have a model like a wireframe, so that would have been nice to see.
Yeah,
but I think for the most part, like, yeah, I'm really happy with the breakdown because we can really see what's, we've also discussed it as well. What are your thoughts on like model and texture wise?
I mean, some of the texture is a little bit noisy. The model looks good. I like the corners and like that. Again, without the wireframe, I can't really tell what's going on because the texture is a bit noisy. I think it's always going to be something like that. Like, what is a shipping container? Like, it's got rust there. Okay, but what caused it? Like where's there going to be scratches? You got that like mildewy liner on the bottom. Is it because it was sitting in water, or was that dust, or like those are things to always think about. Like, so it's getting there. I personally would have chosen a different color. Okay. There is a wireframe. All right, cool.
Why did I miss that?
Yeah, the modeling looks good. Modeling looks good. I just personally would have chosen a different color than white. I think white is a little bit limiting. I think if you use like a red or blue or green, you can show obviously like different tones, because what happens when you get like a shipping container like that, you're going to have the metal that is either going to have dust on it, it's going to have rust on it, it's going to have streaks, it's going to have just sun erosion. Like what happens to the metal when it's constantly in the sun, you can kind of see it getting desaturated, where other parts are going to be stronger. So that's why I just wouldn't have done green. I'm sorry, I wouldn't have done white in my opinion. White's kind of like, white's fun to texture if you're doing like a smaller piece, in my opinion, for a larger piece like that. And I think its color change would have made it feel better.
You probably would have made it stand out a little bit more. Hey, where are those wireframes and white? Oh, they're down here. They're right. It was from a previous update. Yeah. Yeah. So this is what we're going for. So maybe like a color like this would have stood out a bit. Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially that one green. I think the green one.
Yeah.
Or it's like if it was green, or maybe there was like painted over in some areas. Like it'd be great if it was green, but it'd be someone graffitied over it. And then, you know, sometimes some places you'll see people paint over where the graffiti is, and it's not exactly the same color. So that's like a swatch of paint over it. So just tell stories. The story can be as simple as that.
What's this? This is clever.
Yeah.
Ah, wicked. There's something inside of it.
Yeah.
No.
Like shaking and banging through, that'd be really cool to see.
No.
That's cool.
Oh my god. That means there's little people or some monsters inside of these crates. All right. So much mystery surrounding these shipping containers this week. I love it. Speaking of mystery, let's look at this one. Right? This is great. So this is like, set in an alternative world or the future where everything's automated, including shipping. I think that's great. Be quicker. Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah, that looks really cool. I like, I like the composition of it, but I like how there's like the light blasting from the bottom of that one. One of them says like loading. Yeah, it's got some fun. I like the color breakdown.
There's again, like not a proper breakdown, which is sad because I really enjoyed this entry. Yeah, so look, I guess like what would have taken this really to the next level would have been that breakdown, just a wireframe, perhaps, you know, a snap of a couple of your maps and things like that, or even just a small paragraph about what programs you used, how you made it, what challenges you faced, or what your, you know, references and things like that. It doesn't always have to be more renders, because that obviously takes a lot more time to produce more renders. But even if it was just a bit of a discussion, so we know how you produced it.
A simple, like a regular render, and then just another thing where you're just kind of showcasing like different screen grabs of production. That goes a long way.
And the other thing is the render doesn't look finished. Like we need to have higher sampling when we render this, because we can see the noise. It's just too grainy. So unfortunately, what lets this one down is the fact that our samples are too low. So we need to let this one cook a bit longer when we render it. Increase your samples and whatnot to get this one across the line, I think. Yeah. Can we see that grain? Because a lot of it is hidden in compositing. But I think it just looks like it's not finished resolving, I think, is the main thing. Like, because it just looked clean here. But I think maybe they ran out of time and they could only render half. I'm not sure. But it looks like an IPR render. Yeah. So great work though. Fantastic idea. All right, with 2 more to go. Got to get Justin to bed. Got to go to sleep. He's tired. Yeah. This one, the model's cool because it's got a little bit more like.
You could see where they would hook it and pull the weight from.
Yeah, I like it. Like, this is great. Like the details in the model, great work. Like the textures feel a little bit more natural in this one. Like, I think there could be more. I think just having the one secondary detail is probably not enough to get it across the line. But I think it's quite well placed. Like, you know, it's in the corners. It's not like uniform. It's quite nice.
Yeah, I like those little subtle details in there, like the little rust bleeding. Yeah. The graffiti is kind of cool. Like that side piece is cool. Like I would, you know, feel free to layer other stuff on top of it. But yeah, it's getting there. I think the color works more as well. It's a nice blue, bluish green, or like a Syrian blue. But the rust stands nicely off of there. Like it blends really well. I do like there's other parts in there, like the bottom part where you can obviously see where that industrial forklift would like slide in at the bottom. So that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
You got that space for that too.
No, it's nice. It's got a really decent breakdown as well, like reference gathering and things like that.
Yeah.
So I'm really pleased with that one. Lastly was this one. So really creative idea.
Yeah,
and the
I
render
like this one a lot.
beautiful. Like, yeah, honestly, like it's really different. It stands out. But what gets it for us is just these renders. Like, in all honesty, like these are like quality renders. This is something that I would want to see in a movie. Like, yeah, like I'm lost for words at how fantastic this the quality of this is. Yeah, like Justin, do you have a few things to talk about?
I mean, honestly, I just like the presentation of it. It's a great render. We were talking about before, like how the blocks look like they're stacked even more naturally, so they're not all completely lined up perfectly. And it goes to show you that you don't need to have a crazy fancy model to make something that is of quality. Like, don't think that the heavy lifting is always in the modeling. It's in the unwrapping, it's in the texturing, it's in the materials, but it's also in the composition and the lighting. Like when you're just putting it on that little piece of paper and having that 1 or 2 blocks off to the side, that perfect angle, it's good composition. It reads well. So don't just waste your time. Like, I don't mean waste your time. Just don't focus your time always on just like, because I feel like what happens is students usually learn modeling first. And that's what they kind of get. Like, they always do modeling first. And then like they'll learn unwrapping and they're hesitant to do unwrapping as much. Or they'll learn texturing, like, but I know how to model. So it always seems like I always see students doing modeling more. And then when they come to texturing, unwrapping, and materials and composition and stuff, it's like they kind of like lose interest towards the end. This is a really well done job. It's simple. It's like it works really, really well. It's simple, it's complicated. And I think, like you said, you hit it on the head. Like, it's the render itself. Like, if I would hire this person just based on like, it's not a complex model, but like I can tell right away if I was going to give them another asset that they would make it look like that. And that's something you have to always realize, is that when it's less is more, quality over quantity. Like, we want to see something that lets us know how much attention to detail, and like not just like can I add all these crazy like polygons? It's like, no, can you make something that actually feels like it's, because it's not as easy to make. You can even tell, like, those wood blocks, some of them have completely different grain. So it's like, it's nice to see that.
I like it. I think the other thing I really enjoy is how the compositing doesn't distract from like the final render. Like, sometimes people can go a little bit crazy with the compositing with crazy grades just to hide things, but all that this is doing is like, it's just defocusing it, it's adding a bit of grain, it's just making it feel like a photograph, which is really nice to see. We can still see all of the details, and it's only enhancing the render, it's not taking away. So just be careful when you do like compositing, is that it's you don't have to go very heavy with it, just a little bit, just to bring it to life a little bit more. The textures, like, look at the little smudgies on top of on the blocks here, like little fingerprints. It's so subtle. And I think that's what I really like about it, is that texturing is all about the subtlety. Not every single layer has to be 100%, high bump, high roughness. Like, not everything has to be really extreme. Like, just a little bit of subtleness, so that when light touches it, just, you can just see it. And I'm really digging the front of the ship, and just some of this up here. I think it's really nice. And you were also saying, like, just how the blocks are just slightly askewed as well. It's not all the same.
Yeah, I'm digging it.
Yeah. I think we were saying this one, I think, takes the winner. Hey.
Yeah, I agree. I like, it's a really flawless. Like, you did breakdowns, you showed us how you made it, you included the unwraps, you included the wireframes, you included the reference, and there's a great composition. It's just really well done. And it's unique. I like the unique touch on it.
No, great work. And it's like, 1-to-1 match. Put this in your show reel for a visual effects or game show reel as well, and you'll go really far with it. Well done. And so second was this one. Hey.
Yeah, Yeah, that
Yeah.
was a really solid piece as well.
Yeah. Again, like solid piece, fantastic breakdown. It was a real package. So well done. Third, so we were struggling with third because we were tossing up between two or three, but so the ones we were looking at was the ice cream, the this one, and this one. But none of them have breakdowns. So normally that would have been the deciding factor, I think. Like if we're really struggling, we'd go, all right, which one has a better breakdown? But none of them do. So I'm not sure. This one's a challenging one, hey?
So I feel like if I was going to choose between the three of them, it'd be the one that I feel like I would most like to see pushed forward. And I'm going to go with the ice cream one. I would like to see that one with stylized textures. When I'm squinting at it, I'm looking at it right now. If I squint, I'm like, if you just remove some of that extra geometry, like scaled up some and exaggerate it, like you said, like we don't need as much, and had flatter stylized textures on it, it'd be a really fun piece. So that's the one that's got me like the most excited of what it could become. And like that, I'm leaning more towards that one. And then like I really like the idea of the futuristic shipping crates. I like that idea. It would be cool. Like it just feels like it needs like little rockets towards the bottom of it, more of a breakdown explanation of how they work, and like a close-up model of one of them by themselves. Like this is a cool idea. It seems like it's a concept idea, which, you know, take it further. And I feel like that one's going to be a little more work. I feel like and then the other one that's on the hill looks great. It's like, all right, it's in the hill. I like that. It's like I almost would have like gone on the route of like, instead of having the coins in there, I would have like having it in the hill by itself like that. I would have been like, all right, let's just add like a tarp, put some 2 sticks in front of it, make it seem like someone turned it into their home. I don't know. But like, I think the one that gives you the most straightforward idea of what to do with it is that one. One. Like, all right, cool. You just change 2 or 3 things and you're in business.
Yeah, no, I'm inclined to agree. Like this one does get me really excited. Like I want to see it finished, like taken further. So, all right,
finish it.
Finish it. Finished was not the correct word to use.
Yeah.
Taken further.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll give this one third. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
I'm happy. All right. Cool. Well, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you so much, everyone. It was a fantastic week. We had a lot of entries. Next week we have hiking boots, I think. Boots, I think. Yeah.
And we have less than 20 hours to submit your rookie's entry. So
get your entries in
there too if you haven't done that, because those will be fun. Because we're gonna dive right into judging. Yeah. All right, everyone. You have a lovely night, and we'll see you soon. All right.
See ya.